G'day guys, welcome back to the Fon Supercoach YouTube channel. Today we are reviewing round 11, which as you can see was a reasonable round for me. Moved up 6,500 ranks up to 44k, which ironically I think is my highest or second highest rank for the season at the end of the round. So yeah, just made the one trade last week. This should be, I don't know if this is going to be a spoiler for what I'm going to do, but no, that's right. Okay, so let's get into the team. So last week, the one trade I made was Sam Cumming to Darcy Cameron, which has worked a treat one round in, although Sam Cumming did get his CBAs back a little bit and did score well, although part of that was playing against Essendon, I think. So probably not the most ideal situation, but it is what it is. Probably a lesson learned there with rookies that are about 200k. You might as well just hold them. They tend to make cash just by spiking random scores. So yeah, bought in DCam. He was really good. Would have liked a little bit more against West Coast, but it's been a while since he played, so I'll give him a little bit of a mulligan in that sense. And yeah, let's get into the team. So starting in defense, I was having a good week until Sunday. Fantastic weekend because my Demons hadn't lost yet. And Lachie Whitfield wasn't laid out. And to be honest, I think if Whitfield had played, he wouldn't have cashed in that big, even though it was a huge Lions win. GWS win. The game was really weird actually. Like the first half in particular, every time Brisbane got the ball, they were just like really efficient inside forward 50, or like it would just turn over further up the ground. And it didn't really, like, none of the GWS defenders scored that well in the first half. And then in the second half, that if you weren't involved in that third quarter blitz, you didn't really score, which is why Finn Callahan didn't really score, but we'll get to him in a second. So yeah, Whitfield laid out. If I'm being honest, I think he misses this week as well, just because I don't think they would put him on the plane to Alice Springs when there's the bye the week after. So fortunately, I should have Edwards as cover. Otherwise, we're going to be one down this week. Sinclair he was fine, I guess. Who did they play? I have a feeling I actually didn't watch this game. No, I watched bits of this game. Yes, this was the Jordan Clark issue. Okay, so I did watch the Spoon Bowl instead of this mostly. However, yeah, Sinclair was fine. This is a bad matchup as well. I do think when Desire comes back, the scoring will be a little bit more difficult for a lot of the St Kilda guys. But yeah, Sinclair was fine. 114, we take. And then Worrell 134. Worrell was really good, and particularly in the second half when the game was on. Well, the game was on the line the whole time, but the way scaling works is if the game is close the whole time, it's skewed towards the back end. And yeah, Worrell was quite good during the back end. Probably the last. Oh, actually, maybe next week as well, but maybe 1 of 2 weeks where Worrell nets me more points than Roberts. I say maybe next week as well, because I think there is a chance that Roberts gets a Murdoch tag, which sounds insane, but I think it's within the scope of possibilities. So yeah, Worrell was really good intercepting, efficient ball use. There were some poor defensive efforts, but I think he wasn't the only one for Adelaide. And then Jordan Clark. Yeah, let's talk about Jordan Clark and Dan Houston at the same time. I guess Clark is not really diabolical when you have Dan Houston sitting next to him, but yeah, just like there are so many possessions and Houston has the same problem, but he's just like less fit and like less good compared to Clark. Like Houston's weapon is his kick, and he can't use that without the ball, whereas Clark can actually defend. He's reasonable at contest, and that sort of stuff. Gets heaps of spoils, tackles. Houston doesn't do any of that, so both of them set up in the middle of the ground. So when the switch comes, they actually don't get the ball unless it's kicked up the ground from inside T50. So for example, if it starts just like on halfback flank on the right-hand side, it goes like back pocket, other opposite flank. And Houston and Clark tend to set up, like true centre half back. So they don't actually get the usage, and they're not really calling for the ball or leading. So that's why they don't get the ball. They don't get the junk. They don't get the kick-ins apparently. So I've been on and on about it with Collingwood, so it doesn't make sense. Clark, I think the problem with the difference with Freo is that they have really strong contested players. So it sort of makes sense for their game plan to be a lot of a long down the line rather. Whereas Collingwood's got one of the worst contested sides in footy. And what their assets are actually like outside run and ball users. And for whatever reason, they just don't play that way. So that does my head in. But what I'm trying to say is that I don't see why Clark's scoring would improve outside of this 95 average. It was just a disaster of a pick. And I sort of knew that when I was picking it, to be honest. It's probably gone a little bit worse than anticipated, but I mean, it is what it is. And then Houston, what can I say? Like, the thing is, I don't think I'm in a position to trade him out. And Collingwood's run for designated kickers outside of this game at Marvel against the Dogs, I'm pretty sure is putrid. Let's have a look. Okay, so gets Melbourne, but then I'm pretty sure Port's bad. Okay, Richmond's all right. Okay, the next few are not too bad, although only 3 at the G. But then like North, Geelong, Hawthorn, Brisbane are all quite bad. So yeah, maybe I get to a position after round 17 where I can trade him, but I think that's going to be unlikely. And then Lindsay, the scoring was going to end at some point. So for mine, he's fully cashed up. Although he does have Essendon this week, which is a juicy matchup, given how bad they are. I mean, like best case, I probably get an 80. Holds value. I don't know. I think I'm keen to flick him, to be honest. So yeah, that's what we'll do. Will Edwards keeps ticking along. To be honest, I didn't really watch this game because I was concerned of what Brodie Grundy would do to me, but Brodie Grundy did not do anything to me. So Edwards was actually quite competitive. So I didn't watch a heap of this game. I got bits and pieces, but yeah, really like Edwards. He had a couple of bad clangers, so lost some points, but yeah, I think he's been pretty good. And then Perez was like bog in the 2s. So maybe this is the week we get Flynn Perez back, although I won't hold my breath. And then swap the VC from Dacos to Butters just before Butters played. I was like, surely Port are going to be all right against Carlton, and Butters should be able to score well against that. Now, Port were rubbish, and Butters just didn't have the soldiers to go with him, unfortunately, which meant we only got a 103. So I lost, 10 points going going Butters over Dacos. The question is, would I have taken this 124? And the answer is probably yes, but I'm not sure. So yeah, that is what it is. Bont and Richards just towed up Melbourne. Bont, Richards and Dale just all went bananas. And I sort of thought that this probably wouldn't be like too good a game for the Dogs mids in general because there's no English. And I think their performances strongly correlate with English. But yeah, I thought Melbourne, particularly early, were a little bit off. So it was a good game for Bont. He just does some things that are, I know, we all know what Bont does, but he's a joy to watch, to be honest. And it's much more fun owning him, even though I've got an average of about 100 from him so far. But this week we've got Collingwood, and that should be grand. So yeah, that'll be good. And then Max Holmes got defender DPP against Sydney. He was really good when I was watching this game. Just gets on the run. Like him and Baz, what they provide through running power is just so unique to me. And yeah, I just find them fascinating to watch. So Holmes was really good. He has defender status, so I need to get an extra midfielder. I've got some thoughts on that, but we'll talk about what our trade plans for the year are really from this point shortly. And then Dacos still kicked the ball really bad. I cannot believe that Dacos has gotten to 515k this season. I cannot believe it. It's just unfathomable to me. This game against Essendon particularly, this was unironically a 200 that he just kicked away in the first half. And then, these are whatever. A couple of tags. Maybe you could have looked at this Hawthorn Geelong Sydney fixture and said, I'm pretty much guaranteed to get him here. But, I don't know. That seems risky to me. Dacos was much better at breaking the tags last year. And then this year they've been pretty woeful. So, is what it is. Got the 124. It's not my year anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then Finn Callaghan, as I said, didn't really get involved when the Giants went on that stupidly absurd run in the third quarter, which, I often look at games like that. I'm talking about Brisbane here. And I'm of the belief if you're capable of dishing that up, you can't win the flag. Now, I think it's definitely too early to write Brisbane off, but that has mostly held true in recent times. So, yeah, I don't know. I remember speaking from a Melbourne perspective, there was a year we got done by Fremantle by 90 plus points in Alice Springs, and I knew that we couldn't win it that year just based on that performance. And I think, unfortunately, for the Lions, there isn't the hunger there. It's tough going back 3 grand finals in a row, winning 2 of them. Like, it's tough. So no disrespect there. They had a really good run. So that's why Finn Callahan didn't score. And then Dunkley, unfortunately, I have picked a tagger. This was a punt. I knew it was a punt, and it's gone poorly, is what it is. I think come winter, it will get better. Although these conditions should have suited him. And just, I felt like some of Dunkley's possessions have been treated as uncontested when they're not. Now, I don't want to get into scoring because it's a redundant argument given you can't affect it. But I don't know. That's just been my 2 cents. So yeah, Dunkley's been a disaster. Milan Murdoch, 94. Been once again tremendous. What he's doing, or what he did to Josh Dacos and a little bit of Houston, which I didn't mention with Houston, but I think if Houston had any work rate, I would sort of consider that, but he just doesn't. So it is what it is. But what Murdoch does to opposing, like, these half-backs that don't really have a contested game is phenomenal. He pretty much just follows them around. That's all you have to do with a lot of these guys. But he's got the agility to stay with them, which is really impressive for a guy who's like, mid-20s, who hadn't played AFL before this year. So, as in the league, not the sport. And then once West Coast gets the ball, he's really good at getting involved. So yeah, just what a player Murdoch is. Will help speed that West Coast rebuild up, which I never would have said that I really was too keen on seeing West Coast look good again, but I'm kind of interested to see what like Dersma and Reed and Shanahan and all those guys look like in a finished product. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Murdoch, what a player. Helps speed up their rebuild, so very good. Got the benefit of the loop this week with Lewis Hamilton here. So looped on Rechko's 107, who I thought was probably the 3rd best player on the ground in this game. I know he nearly won the award, but I thought Taranto was a touch better. And then I thought Parrish was also quite good. So yeah, was pretty happy with this though. Obviously the 107. I don't know who Richmond have this week. I think it's Sydney. Sydney. So, well, it's going to be all hands on deck this week anyway, so he's going to be on field. But he's been really good, and he should make a boatload of cash now. I think the break even is sort of high this week. I know it's only 11, but it should actually get lower. Yeah, 5. Oh, that's with a 74 though. Yeah, we'll see. And then Angry, I'm expecting to play this week because Scott Pendlebury will likely be managed. So that'll be good. We'll get a little bit more cash gen here. Watkins, please just drop this donkey. I have had enough. I don't want to watch it anymore. Like, he's just so bad at football. Like, ugh. Anyway. Max Gorn, so yeah, went to sea with Max and he just didn't. He scored like 12 points in the last quarter, which is what it is. I did think that there was some situations where he would normally get a free kick when he didn't this week, but again, I don't really want to talk about umpiring because I can't control it. So it is what it is. I guess I should have rolled with DCAM against West Coast, but going with the captaincy on a 400k player is just too brave. So unfortunately, I'm a coward, so I went with Gorn. Take the 114 was better than the 103, is what it is. And then McAndrew, in his last game, gave us a 75 against the dual rucks, kicked a nice goal. Could probably hold him. Who's he got next week? Oh, Geelong. You could definitely hold him, but I am going to cash him in. So thank you, Lachlan McAndrew. It has been a pleasure. Then Shees was very good, as per usual, in a great comeback win for North Melbourne. I think Dimmer summed it up in the press conference. The Suns just stopped. So, yeah, that was interesting to see. But it was sort of good to see North get a good win. It's been a while since they've had a genuinely good win, I think. So, and that was a tremendous win. It was an awesome comeback. So, shout out to Shees and the North boys. Christian Petrarca, 118. He was fine, I think. We'll take a 118. So Sam Flanders, 111, played 100% game time in defence this week. As I said, I didn't watch this whole game, but I saw the stats, and I am staggered by that personally because I think it was in Dimmer's first season at the Suns. He openly admitted that Sam Flanders was not good at that role, and it sounded like Flanders agreed with that. But here he is. He's in that role. He is getting copious amounts of junk because he is a St Kilda defender. Sounds good to me. We will take that. I don't think the role holds because I don't think Sam Flanders is good at this role, but we are not complaining as it is. So very good. And then Tuke Miller. I think North are technically restrictive for midfielders, which is kind of what Tuke plays. It's a lot of half forward, but there is some CBAs. So yeah, he's what it is. We'll get him back after the bye. The Suns are normally pretty cooked after their run at in Darwin. So yeah, I'm not overly concerned about this performance. Pickett 103. Probably could have gone way bigger, but had some bad clangers. There was a shocking clanger at the end of the fourth quarter in the last few minutes where it was like a stock standard handball that just went over his teammate. So yeah, pretty frustrating, but he was the least of my worries. And then McInerney, Geelong's a bad matchup. He's been good for me, so I won't complain too much. This is the life of a forward. Typically, you pick the guys like McInerney instead of the Tracys because the floor is higher. But yeah, unfortunately, it was not a good one. And then last but not least, I've got the rookies here. So Lombard, I think it's time to go. You could hold for one more, but I want the cash now. And then Jones was pretty good against Melbourne, I thought. So, although he had some shocking clangers. So, yeah, not sure. But he will be good cover this week against Collingwood. So, very good. And then Darcy Cameron, 133 on debut. As I said, would have liked a few more points against West Coast. But low-key, Bailey Williams has not been that bad this year. So, yeah, shout out to him. I thought he was on his way out. But no, he's played well this year, Bailey Williams. So, you've got to give him his flowers. But yeah, it was a good score for Cameron. Good result on trade-in. And I think the only threat to this is injury or Collingwood drafting a ruck that can jump, which I don't know if any of those are in the VFL. So, I'm talking in the mid-season draft. So, yeah, should be good. The run is not great though. Although Bulldogs, Port, Richmond is pretty good. These are tougher than Carlton, Adelaide, Geelong, West Coast, and then two tougher ones. I don't know. I think this is a fine pick. As I said, you are not going to get better bang for your buck at 400k. So based on that, good pick. All right. Let's talk trades this week. So I'm going to leave the team as is. So what I need is... Okay, so Holmes goes to defence. So I've got 6 defenders. Yes, I'm counting Houston. And I'm going to count Dunkley in the midfield as well. So I need 3 mids and a ruck, ideally, because I've got full forward line. What I'm going to do... So I think the first question you've got to ask yourself at the moment is, what can you afford? And the answer is, right now, I've got McAndrew, who I don't have enough bank to get him one up, but for example, Lombard and McAndrew gets me someone who is 600k and a bit of cash to spare. So that's one upgrade there with 2 trades. So I've got 16 trades total. So 2 trades gets me an upgrade here. Milan Murdoch and Lindsay is going to get me more than one upgrade. So there is... I should do it this way. So Lindsay and... I don't know, let's go Anderson. Lindsay and Anderson is going to get me an upgrade. So there's another one. So that's 12 trades left. I've made 2 upgrades and I've got 2 more to go. I need a ruck and a midfielder. Where are these other upgrades coming from? So I've traded Lombard, McAndrew, Murdoch and Lindsay. I've got a bit of cash to carry. So Rechko and Jones is going to get me another one. Or Rechko and Edwards, whatever I choose to do. So there's 3. How can I get the last upgrade is the question. And I think the solution is on the bubble this week. There are 2 solutions. Charlie Banfield and is it Jack Eisen? It is Jack Eisen. So 2 cheaper rookies. They're 113.5. I believe Banfield is as well. Yep. And yeah, they both played really well. Eisen is genuinely good. I don't know what Voss was doing not playing him. But is what it is. And then Banfield, But Banfield, he's got good size for a footballer, so I think he'll hold. I think St Kilda needs to get a little bit more experience into the kids before really firing off into a run, if you like. I don't have a lot of faith in their list field, but I'm no expert, so that's what I think. So I think Banfield gets a run at it. Also worth noting that Mason Wood, who I think is in line for his job, was dropped. So that would suggest that Banfield holds the job at the moment. So What are we doing with trades then? So firstly, we are going to cash in Lindsay, Lombard, and McAndrew. As I said, you could probably hold all of them for one more, but I'm just going to take the cash. Max Holmes is getting swung into defence. Darcy Cameron swung into the ruck to give me flexibility this week. And from here, what do we want? We want Ison and we want Banfield. So let's start with this. Ison, Banfield. Now, I can get anyone in the league with this, but the question is, who do I want? And I think the answer, and I'll go through a few of them, is Isaac Heaney. But I will put a caveat on this. So the problem with trading in players who are in teams that are very strong, who have recently had injury history, it means they are very likely to get rested late in the season. And I'm purely speculating, but I think that Bailey Smith and Isaac Heaney both get rested. So in theory, that means that I should actually fade both of them. However, I kind of want to bet against Heaney being rested. There's a couple of reasons for this. Firstly, there's a brilliant captain's matchup this week. Whereas Isaac here is. You could argue that I should wait a week. And there's very much scope that he gets managed within this game. And I think based on that, I shouldn't actually do this. But it is a captain's option. Probably gets tag. Gets Dunkley. Good matchup. Bad matchup. Good matchup. Good matchup. Actually, I don't think St Kilda will tag. Okay, this fixture is not that good. All right, I'm trading this out. We're not going this. We're pivoting on the run. So then who do I want? I want Cherry, but not right now, obviously. He's on his bye. So when does Cherry come in? He comes in after his bye. When he plays a bad matchup, and then he goes into West Coast. Fantastic matchup. Now, he will not have as much fun playing against Bailey Williams as he did Matt Flynn. However, I still think it's going to be good. So yeah, with a 120 gets to 605. Very happy to pay that for a premium ruck. So he comes in going into round 14. The other one I really like that I want next week is Matt Rowell, who is 514k with a break-even of 81. This is a layup. An absolute layup. And I said that about Finn Callahan. But I think it's different with Rowell. Rowell has been very hampered by his hand. And I think he was clearly better this week. So I really like Rowell. I think these matchups are actually going to be good for him because it's like he's a guy who likes it when the ball is on the inside. So these tougher matchups tend to be a little bit more contested. And I like that from Matt Rowell. So he's who I want there, which gives me 2 more premiums to get. And they're both midfielders. So let's go shopping. All right, let's go clear this. Let's go mids. Let's go 5 round average. Why not? So as I said, I'm going to fade Baz for the whole year. I don't mind Noah Anderson, but he's a yo-yo. Dawson, I probably don't want to pay 584 again. Clayton Oliver, I do like. Melbourne this week is a great matchup. And I just want to say, I said after the opening round or round 1 to trade out Clayton Oliver. I was wrong. He's now looking much better. And he's been scoring really well. He also has a terrific buy. Although 4 GWS premiums that just can't bode well, right? I'm including Ash in that. But the run is not bad. Melbourne, St Kilda, Carlton, Hawthorn, Freo's not... Well, these aren't great. Geelong here is typically destroyed. I know that as a Melbourne supporter. And then all these are not bad either. So Clayton Oliver is an option. Who else is there? We're going to fade Nazaya because I don't like the buy. There's Zach Merritt. Oh, that's tempting. Oh, that is very tempting, actually. Because of injuries to Caldwell and Durham. But the problem is Durham misses 1, right? And then, this run is so good, though. Oh, geez. So, Caldwell misses probably the season, but I think Sardis just comes in for Caldwell. The other question the other thing you have to factor in with Essendon premiums now is what does the new coach do? Because the new coach is imminent. It may not be this week, but I think it'll be the week after. There is speculation that Scott gets to the bye. I don't think that'll happen. But what happens now? What happens with Essendon? And is that something I really want to gamble on? The floor's quite good. Lowest score of 87 in a tag. So when he had 10 disposals. So I really don't mind this at all. Who else have we got? G. Sanders has been a good pick if you went there. I'm fading LDU the whole season. I've just got to go with it. Ed Richards has been sore for a lot of the year and has a bad bye, so I'm not going to go there. Spoke about Rao. Damn, Garcia's 474k. Impressive. Love Steele, but not going there. Toronto is mildly interesting. So, I think ideal world, like absolute ideal world, it's going to be Heaney, Baz, Cherry, and Rao. But I'm fading Baz and potentially Heaney based on this. So, it's going to be Cherry, Rao. I think Oliver's my guy this week. And who was the other one I liked? Merritt. Oh, I just don't know if I can do this. Like, the run's so good, though. Oh. The run is really good. The problem is, what happens if the new coach comes in and just plonks, like, Parrish, Roby, Sardis in there? And Merritt just has to, like, fight for survival in the other places. Like, there's scope that Merritt's role could get worse as they try and play the kids because he's got 1 foot out the door. So, I don't know about that. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Who else is there, though? There's not really anyone else. Can I sort by price? I'm going to fade these. Fading Nas. Don't hate Lockie Neal. The other thing is like, if I really need to afford a bargain basement type player, McCluggage is still going to be there. Like, he's going to be under 400k. Also, by the way, if you have Isaac Rankin or Durham, you got so unlucky this round. Like, Rankin was, like, it was belt to ass with Rankin. He was smashing me every week. And then very unlucky, got the calf injury. Going to miss 3, it sounds like, including the bye. And then Durham, the concussion in the best matchup. Like, that's just unlucky. Very, very cruel game, Supercoach, sometimes. Okay, it really is just like... I wouldn't mind Dawson, but it's just too expensive. Okay, I think I've made my decision, and we're going Clayton Oliver. I do love me some Clary, so let's do it. We got Clayton Oliver in. West Coast play last. Yep. Okay, so this is how we line up. We need 3 more. Oh, we need 3 more mids. I miscounted. So we're going to get Cherry? No. Yeah, no, I was right. Rao, and then someone else. I just don't trust Merritt. Like, Essendon is so hard to trust. It's part of the reason I didn't go Roberts as well. I'm umming and ahhing on this. I think I like Oliver, though. Like, these... I have gone a lot of, like, these... Oh, it's only one, really. Yeah, I like Oliver. I think I'm going to go there. I do expect GWS to come good. So... I think we're just going to go Oliver. Like, realistically, what happens with Merritt? It's like, tag... It's a good run before this North game, though. Great run into the bye, actually. I just don't know with Merritt. I just don't know. So I might let him go. Worst case, if I need a cheap one, maybe he's cheap after North. I don't know. The run is like not great at the end of the year, though. Like 4 of the last 5. If Port keep up their form, excluding last week, obviously, they'll be tough as well, as will the Giants. Brisbane. Okay. All right, I'm content with this. We'll make up the last slot when we get there. So yeah, this is where I've landed. No Heaney or Baz feels slightly bad, but the reason is that, to be honest, we saw it last year with Bailey Smith, by the way, that he got managed going into finals in a good matchup in West Coast. So I think there is a very real chance that happens. It's very real chance that it happens to Holmes as well, who is in my side. But Baz in particular, a few more injury concerns on the soft tissue front. Has had the ACL in the past. Obviously, unlucky injury that, but I think there is a chance he gets managed. Same with Heaney, just based on how well the Swans are going. Let's have a look here. What's their run like? Like, what's to say that Sydney don't put the Ferraris in the garage against Essendon or North with top 4 locked up? Maybe they gun for top 2. But like top 2 is like kind of... The only other team outside of Freo and Sydney that are a threat to top 2, I think, is Geelong. And I just don't think Geelong will care about top 2, if I'm going to be honest. So I think I'm content with this. I'm just talking management into existence, potentially. But it is a real risk with those top teams. And if you started Baz or got on him really early, same with, well, I guess Handy's had the injuries, so not quite the same. But I think if you already have them, it's less of a risk. But for me going there now, when I'm trying to play a game where my advantage is trades, which is going to be difficult, but what this allows me to do is next week I can go one trade to Rao from like Murdoch, Jones, Rechko. Like I can literally pick any of them, right, and go to Rao. And then the week after, I can go like 3 more trades to get to Cherry. And then I need 1 slot from Ison and Banfield, which is like 2 trades, 3. It's 6 trades. So I'll have 7 left over with an extra premium, which is better than the situation I thought I'd be in. I could also just hold. But given that I have Dunkley, I don't really want to do that. Dunkley and Clark in Houston. So yeah, this is kind of where I'm going. Maybe I prioritize getting Houston to someone else instead. I don't know. I'll have to try and work out what the points value of that will be. But yeah, those are the decisions that I'm trying to make going into this part of the season. So yeah, let's just line up for this round. VC on Rechko. That's got to be culture, right? And let's do this. All right, so that's what we'll do here. We're going to use Touk Miller as the vice-captain loop. And who do we want for that? So immediately, like Grundy, Heaney, probably wouldn't go McInerney. I think Lizard is like very tempting here as well. In this game is interesting. I actually quite like Max Holmes here, but last time I put the C on Max Holmes, it was a disaster. So yeah, I don't know about that. Also, not great history against Carlton, but I don't think you should give much stock to history outside of taggers. Although he actually might have got tagged in one of these games. So that's an option. GWS versus Melbourne is interesting, but also Gawn against Briggs is interesting. Now, Heath played one of the lowest togs ever this week, so I think there's a chance that he actually gets managed or just plays a full game in the VFL, and we get full Max Gawn this week. So if that happens, the captaincy will be on Max Gawn for me. Obviously, Bulldogs against Collingwood is a fantastic one, so I think I'm going to go Bont over Dacos just based on recent history. So I might do something like this. VC Bont into C Dacos. I kind of like that. Into C Gawn. What other good options are there? So probably none in this game. Holmes or Baz in this game, you could. I think Baz is genuine. I don't have as much faith in Holmes. Any Sydney premium in this game can go in your VCC loop. This game I probably wouldn't touch. So I think the one that people will be interested in is Jackson. But my read on the Brisbane ruck setup is that it is actually restrictive just because Draper is very good at getting to hit outs. And then Fort comes in and is a more like Like he's a rugged battler type ruck and wears you down a little bit. So I think that is not a great matchup for Jackson. Any Dogs premium, Nick Dacos, all good options. Gorn. I think all of the Giants premiums also are a good option. And then I like Merritt here. And I don't think I would go Roberts. Oh, actually, Merritt might get a tag. He might get Hoff. Yeah, okay, I'm not touching Merritt this week, I think. So, yeah. All right, that's how I'm lining up. Thank you all for watching. Let me know who you're trading into in the comments below. And I will see you this time next week. Bye, guys.